Good morning, and it's time for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on a Friday. It's November 10th, the day before Veterans Day. So those of you who are getting the day off, I know the schools are out today and a lot of federal, state, and local government offices are closed. So enjoy your day today here in the Wenatchee Valley. It looks like it's a beautiful day on tap as well for a Friday. This is my last day as your guest host, sitting in for Dan Kuntz, who's on vacation this week. He'll be back again in this seat Monday with another great lineup of shows. Today we got a special edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Veterans Day tomorrow, so we have a lot of news regarding veterans activities, especially those school assemblies that were held yesterday in the Wenatchee Valley. In fact, my guests coming up in the second half hour, everything veteran related. Of course, we have the big parade in downtown Wenatchee tomorrow at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, marking Veterans Day, and all the veterans groups will be marching. And of course, we're hoping to line the streets with a lot of people to be spectators for that great annual event. But again, we have as our guest today on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Ron Bruno with the Serving Vets of North Central Washington group. He's coming over from the bunker, and we'll talk about all things veteran related today, and some of the projects that they're doing, the good works that they're doing, and help they're providing to returning military veterans here in the Wenatchee Valley. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up in the second half hour of our show. It's a great day yesterday, of course. Schools around the valley held assemblies in tribute and in honor of our local military veterans. And I think we have a little bit of a snippet from that we'll share with you here in a few minutes as well. Also, as a part of our interview, earlier last week, I had a chance to learn about a U.S. Army nurse's uniform that's on display at the Serving Vets bunker here in Wenatchee, and we'll share that with you as well, and how that uniform made it to that display. As you can see in the background, it's starting our day a little foggy here in the Wenatchee Valley, or at least that's the image we're seeing from our SkyVi cameras. In fact, right now, let's take a look at some of the camera views from around the Wenatchee Valley. And as we said, here looking down from the Wenatchee Heights area through a layer of fog, there you can just see just a slice of Wenatchee Valley there in the lower left-hand side of the screen. But again, low clouds and fog and a possibility of rain still continuing here in the Wenatchee Valley through the weekend. We'll have your forecast details coming up here in just a couple of minutes. That's our first camera image. That was looking down from the cross at Wenatchee Heights. And here's even a better shot of that cloud layer with the beautiful sunshine above. Hopefully that'll break here and give us some sunshine, or at least a taste of sunshine later this afternoon. Again, this is looking down from our Billy Goat cam towards the Pateros and Brewster area. Again, that's from our Billy Goat camera provided to us by SkyFi Wireless Internet. Beautiful little blanket of clouds there over the valley. And here we go up to Omi Gardens, looking down across the Wenatchee River and the Chelan Highway and that industrial section down there off Highway 97A. Again, that's the Omi Gardens camera. And again, still that foggy conditions here draping the Wenatchee Valley this morning. And our final camera image comes to us from Rude Canyon in the Waterville area. And they're above the cloud layer, looking out across the plain towards Waterville. Again, just a beautiful shot there with snow on the ground, and just a beautiful day to start our Friday, November 10th, here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Hope you have a lot of plans for the weekend, because I know that we will be covering the Veterans Parade tomorrow in Wenatchee for a delayed broadcast of that. So we'll have all the color and pageantry of our local veterans groups and military procession through downtown Wenatchee. And what we're really hoping for, folks, is for a good turnout. Show your support for the area veterans who have protected this country in so many ways and made so many sacrifices, not just themselves, but their families as well. So the more people that can show up on the street side and pay tribute to our area veterans, the better. Let's take a look at our forecast now for the Wenatchee Valley, and it is calling for, again, a 20% chance of rain today. I think it's going to be dominated mostly by patchy fog and clouds. A low around 34 expected tonight, following a daytime high of 45 today. And as you can see here from our illustration, we are expecting a chance of rain at least over the next 5 to 6 days. Friday night, we're looking for mostly cloudy, a low of 34, calm conditions. Veterans Day, it's going to be a slight chance of some drizzle after 4 p.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 44. Saturday night, there's also a slight chance of some drizzle before 10 p.m., then a slight chance of rain after 10 p.m. Should be cloudy Saturday night with a low around 36. And again, as you can see, the temperatures with mid to upper degree 40 range there for the daytime highs and overnight lows dipping to about the mid-30s. No real fear of or concerns about snowfall. Right now, that moisture is going to fall as rain here in the Wenatchee Valley. But again, you can expect to see some snow at the higher elevations, and that could affect your commute, or at least your driving over the Cascades over the next few days. Although we understand the DOT tells us that the North Cascades Highway, after a brief reopening, is now closed for the season. Highway 20 North Cascades Pass now closed for the season. Elsewhere, though, let's take a look at some of the pass conditions here locally. First of all, Snoqualmie Pass. Again, they do have some visibility issues up there near the top, but roadway mostly bare and wet. No restrictions currently over Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens Pass right now, pretty much similar weather conditions with some low-hanging fog there, so there might be some visibility issues, but there is also a traction tire advisory with compact snow and ice in places on the roadway. Traction tires advised in both directions over Stevens Pass. No restrictions currently over Blewett Pass, as we can see, mostly bare and wet conditions. And to the south of us, Yakima area, US 12, White Pass now, traction tires advised, but no restrictions over I-82, the upper Manastash Ridge, which was having some issues earlier in the week with snowfall there. That's a roundup of your Cascade conditions and weather forecast for the next few days. We have your local news coming up next as Wake Up Wenatchee Valley continues for a Friday.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar. Kick off the holiday shopping season in downtown Wenatchee with the Holiday Open House and Wine Walk Saturday, November 11. Visit participating downtown locations hosting wineries and cideries from throughout the region from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
I've been watching Price is Right since I was a little kid.
Price is Right, and I'm like freaking out. It's crazy. We're gonna win big!
Now, here it comes. On stage and in person, The Price is Right. Live. All the games, prizes, and excitement. And now, more winners than ever before. You could even win from your seat. Don't miss your chance to come on down at The Price is Right live stage show.
November 30th, Town Toyota Center. Reserve seats on sale now at towntoyotacenter.com.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
A lot to get to here on a Friday, November 10th, as far as news is concerned here in north central Washington. Let's get right to it. First of all, at 8 minutes after the hour, Douglas County Fire District 2 crews responded to a bus fire yesterday morning at the Eastmont Bus Garage. They're on Northeast 6th Street. Investigator with the Douglas County District 2 Fire Department, Brian Brett, says fortunately one of the department volunteer firefighters, Kyle Dennis, works at the bus garage, and because of his quick thinking, he says he saved other buses from catching fire.
Fortunately, a volunteer lieutenant for our department works down there at the bus garage, so when he saw that bus on fire, he jumped in the closest 2 buses parked next to it and moved them away. We were able to get there and get that side door of the bus open. Our mechanic, volunteer firefighter down there told us the best access for it, and crews were able to pop the engine cowling and put the fire out and contain it to the front of the bus.
Now, that fire began around 11:30 in the morning yesterday. It was confined to the front of the bus. School district is still evaluating whether to repair it or possibly buy a new one. Also from yesterday, Washington State Patrol says driving too fast on our wet, slushy roads yesterday morning was the cause of a 2-car crash near East Wenatchee. 22-year-old Liliana Valdez Salazar of East Wenatchee was traveling eastbound on State Route 28 around 7 o'clock yesterday morning when she lost control of her vehicle after driving through some standing water on the roadway. She then crossed the center line and struck a pickup driven by 68-year-old Douglas Seahorn of Wenatchee. Now, Valdez Salazar was injured in the crash. She was being treated at Central Washington Hospital. Seahorn, though, was unhurt in that crash. Also from yesterday morning, the snowfall triggered a power outage in Douglas County, north of Orondo. Megan Vibert with the Douglas County PUD explains about 420 customers in the Desert Canyon, Toroga Park, and Douglas Drive area lost electricity when a snow-laden tree fell into a power line. Power was restored by 9 a.m. Meanwhile, Vibert says historically, the potential for weather-related power outages occurs with more frequency during the winter months, and in fact, she's urging customers to sign up for a new mobile app for emergency information.
They can download an app on their favorite mobile device, and there's a feature in there where you can report outages and get outage updates all on your phone. And so we are encouraging our customers as winter approaches to get that app on their phone, so if the power does go out, they can just roll over and click a button and we'll know about it and get right on it.
And for more information, you can contact the Douglas County PUD. Their phone number is 884-7191, or learn more about it on their website. Again, the Douglas County PUD. Well, voters in the Wenatchee School District appear to be ready for changes at the governing board level. Sarah Knox, Michelle Sandberg, and Sonny Hemphill ran a shared campaign platform that criticized the current board for a lack of transparency and failure to engage the community more in their decision-making process. Now, their campaign message didn't sit well with current board members Robert Sealby and Laura Jakes, who defended their board's record in op-ed letters to the Wenatchee World. Sarah Knox replied.
No system is ever perfect or above being criticized. And I think, if I do have the opportunity to serve on the board, it's a constant question of how can we improve, what can we do better. And I think we need to constantly be criticizing what we're doing and asking how we can make improvements, because I can't think of one company, organization, or school district that is doing everything 100% perfectly. And so, I think it would be false to say that we're already as transparent as we could be, or already as active in the community as we could be. And that's been part of the campaign. When I've talked to people who say that they have a hard time accessing information, or that they want to be involved in the schools and there are barriers to entry, or parents who aren't feeling like they're being included, those are very real concerns. And while that might not necessarily be the policy of the school board to not include some of those groups, it's absolutely an area that we need to improve on. So I understand the hesitation from the current school board to criticize what they're doing, but I think that the only way we can improve is if we're constantly trying to figure out what we can do better.
Again, there were about 3,000 ballots still to be tallied as of yesterday. Knox was leading incumbent director Jennifer Talbot with 54% of the votes. Sandberg appears to have defeated Sealby, who ran as a write-in candidate. And Hemphill outpolled incumbent Claudia DeRobles with 61% of the vote there. Now, the auditor's office tallied more ballots yesterday afternoon, but there were no changes in the leaderboard. Well, it was a day to honor veterans at schools around the Wenatchee Valley. That was the scene at Robert E. Lee Elementary School yesterday. It was mirrored at other student assemblies in the Wenatchee and Eastmont School District. It's obviously a moving day for everybody there in the school district. Schools are out today, by the way, in observance of the Veterans Day holiday. Saturday's annual Veterans Day Parade starts at 10:30 in Wenatchee. In fact, our guests coming up in the second half hour, Vets Serving Vets of North Central Washington, will join us in the next half hour to preview the big day's events. And we'll also get an update from them on what's happening at the bunker. Well, the Wenatchee Apple Bowl hosts the 5th annual Cops Flag football game Sunday. The event pits the Wenatchee Police Department against deputies with the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. The game is for more than just bragging rights. It's also a benefit in support of the group Jerry's Harvest, a local charity that provides Thanksgiving meals for families living with cancer or who are receiving home health hospice care. Now, the game kicks off at 7 p.m. Sunday at the Apple Bowl, and a $5 donation is requested. Finally, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife just finished 200 hours of training with their first ever wildlife detection dog. That's right, they have a canine of their own now. His name is Officer Benny. He's an expert at finding illegally trafficked wildlife and even guns.
Black bear gallbladder is a hot ticket item for wildlife traffickers in Washington. Detective Lauren Wendt is going to hide it on one of these motorcycles. And now it's time for Officer Benny to try to find it. He's drastically faster than humans searching warehouses and vehicles, and he sits when he finds the scent.
Good boy. Get it, get it, get it.
Then gets his reward. While we were watching Benny train today, we heard reports of an attempted elk poaching in East Pierce County. So we got to see Benny on the job.
Hey, buddy, come here.
Here, he's looking for shell casings from bullets that may have been fired illegally.
Benny can tell us if something's here, but he can also tell us if something's not here. So it's beneficial, you know, even if he doesn't find anything, we can confidently say what we're looking for isn't here.
Benny isn't just good at his job, he loves it too. And maybe that's because it's not just a job. This is Benny's new home.
The original owner surrendered him just because he's got a lot of energy and a lot of drive.
That energy makes him a perfect addition to wildlife police.
Hey, check on there.
A rescue dog now coming to the rescue of poached and trafficked wildlife.
So he makes it a lot more efficient and effective.
Benny picked up the scent of something at this spot, and officers plan to return with a metal detector.
Ready? Hop up. Come on, buddy.
Time to go. And for Benny, that seems like the toughest command.
I know, you don't want to stop working. Let's go. Hop up. Good boy.
In East Pierce County, I'm Allison Morrow, King 5 News.
Always like those dog stories. And by the way, a big thank you to King 5 News in Seattle for providing us with that video. That's a look at our news for a Friday morning. We have a lot more coming up in the second half hour. But first, we're going to get Mike Magnotti's opinion, because certainly you're always entitled to that, every day on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley as we continue on this November 10th.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on LocalTel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CVCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CVCH respects that.
And we continue with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this gray overcast day. And again, we are expecting more rain in the forecast, all just a slight chance for later today. But let's don't dampen the sports report for this morning. Here's what's happening around North Central Washington. First of all, on the Les Schwab prep scoreboard from yesterday in state volleyball action at the 1B tournament in Yakima's Sun Dome, Entiat fell in its opener 3-0, but bounced back in the losers bracket to beat Providence Classical Christian 3-0 to stay alive. Also in the Sun Dome on the 2B floor, Brewster won its opener 3-0 over Raymond, but dropped to the consolation bracket with a second round 3-1 loss to Mossy Rock. Meanwhile, on the football schedule for tonight, Friday night lights under the dome in the WIAA State 4A playoffs. West Valley takes on Richland tonight in Edgar Brown Stadium in Pasco. That's at 7 o'clock, while Moses Lake hosts Gonzaga Prep. In the State 2B playoffs, Manson hosts the DeSalles Irish tonight at 7 o'clock, while Pateras is at Sunnyside Christian. Lake Roosevelt travels to Davenport to take on the Gorillas. On the prep volleyball schedule for today, Entiat tries to get to the trophy round with an 8 a.m. match against Rainier Christian in the 1B tournament. Brewster takes on Kalama today at 9:45 in the 2B tournament. Eastmont begins play today in the Tri-Cities in the State 4A tournament when it plays Meade this afternoon at 1:30. Later today in the 1A tournament in the Sun Dome, Cascade faces La Center, while Chelan takes on Natchez Valley at 5:15. Turning now to the state swimming and diving championships, those are getting underway today. Wenatchee and Eastmont both have a strong contingent to partake in the festivities at the King County Aquatic Center in Federal Way. In the state soccer playoffs, Liberty Bell begins the state 1B, 2B soccer tournament at Gonzaga Prep today, 2 o'clock against St. George's. The rest of the schedule is set for tomorrow with Cascade taking on Overlake in the Apple Bowl at 11 a.m. That's the quarterfinals of the state 1A tournament. They had hoped to play that game in Leavenworth, but yesterday's weather put a crimp on that, so they'll play in the Apple Bowl. Brewster hosts Cross Point at 1 o'clock tomorrow in the 1B, 2B tournament. And in the quarterfinals of the State 4A tournament, Wenatchee hosting Kennedy Catholic at 1:30 in the Apple Bowl. Be sure to tune in Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for all the results, and the best of luck to our area teams. Well, the Wenatchee Wild gets back into the BCHL hockey action tonight and tomorrow in the Town Toyota Center. Wenatchee hosts West Kelowna tonight at 7 o'clock, and then the Prince George Spruce Kings will come to town tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Seahawks, by the way, got back on the winning track last night with a 22-16 win over the Arizona Cardinals, but it may be one of the costliest wins in franchise history. Richard Sherman tore his Achilles tendon in the third quarter, and unfortunately, Sherman is out for the season. Left tackle Dwayne Brown, who was just acquired in a trade, went down with an ankle injury. Running back C.J. Proces also injured an ankle. Defensive tackle Jaron Reed went down with a hamstring injury. Defensive end Frank Clark left the game with a thigh injury. And safety Cam Chancellor went out with a stinger. Linebacker Michael Wilhoit went out with a calf injury. Now, despite all of that, Russell Wilson completed 22 of 32 passes for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns to Jimmy Graham. As Seattle improves to 6-3, Seahawks have 10 days to try to get guys healed up, as their next game will be at home against Atlanta on Monday Night Football. It's a big weekend in college football, meanwhile. It begins tonight with Washington. The Huskies traveling to Palo Alto to take on the Stanford Cardinal at 7:30. That to be broadcast on Fox Sports 1. Tomorrow, Eastern Washington tries to get back on the winning track at North Dakota at 11 a.m. Central Washington takes its undefeated record to Humboldt State and won that game to be broadcast on ESPN Channel 3. Number 19, Washington State. The Cougs are at Utah Saturday afternoon at 2:30, and that'll be on the Pac-12 network And for the rest of the NFC West this weekend, here's how it looks. The Rams hosting Houston at 1:05 on CBS, while the Giants are in San Francisco to battle the winless 49ers at 1:25 on Fox. And that wraps up our sports report for a Friday. A lot to get to. And don't forget the Cops flag football game Sunday at the Apple Bowl. That kicks off at 7 o'clock. And again, that's a benefit event pitting the Wenatchee Police Department versus the Chelan County Sheriff's deputies. It's always a lot of fun. And they're asking for a $5 donation to help Jerry's Harvest, which is a charity to help families who are going through cancer right now. So a good opportunity for you to go out and support the Cops, Jerry's Harvest, and to see a great little football game there at the Apple Bowl. Again, that's Sunday, 7 p.m., the Cops flag football game. It's 25 after the hour here on a Friday afternoon. Again, I'm Steve Hare. I've been guest hosting the show, keeping the seat warm for Dan Kuntz while he's on vacation. And as usual at this time, we turn to our obscure holiday of the week. And today it just happens to be a birthday celebration. It's always November 10th. United States Marine Corps celebrates the birth of the Marine Corps. It was created during the Revolutionary War. The Continental Congress of the newly created United States of America authorized the creation of the Continental Marines on November 10th, 1775. It was later renamed the U.S. Marine Corps. It's often abbreviated as USMC. Semper Fi is the word. The Marine Corps has proudly participated in every war that has involved the United States, every war, every conflict. If you see a Marine today, thank them for their contributions to protecting our USA, active or retired. They deserve our thanks and appreciation on this USMC Day. Take a Marine to lunch, what do you say? And now we turn to our dates in history, some famous events that occurred on this date. First of all, 1898 was the date, 119 years ago. For the only time in American history, a city government was overthrown in a coup d'etat when white supremacists seized power and chased the mayor and city council of Wilmington, North Carolina, out of that town. Interesting side note of history there, 119 years ago. 1969, 48 years ago, Sesame Street debuts on PBS with the Big Bird there in the background. Sesame Street has won 167 Emmy Awards, by far the most than any other television series. Happy birthday to Sesame Street, celebrating its 48-year anniversary today. 1975, in fact, Caitlin, maybe you can pull this up for us. There's a famous sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
An air and sea search is continuing for possible survivors of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 729-foot ore carrier, which apparently broke apart and sunk last night on Lake Superior. The ship and its 29-man crew vanished in a storm with 80-mile-an-hour winds and wave heights up to 25 feet. All that has been found is an oil slick and some debris.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies are low.
And of course, the famous sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald will forever be memorialized in that famous song by Gordon Lightfoot. Cause of that sinking, by the way, has never been determined. Also, today, it happens to be a birthday for a lot of people. It's a lot of special people today, too. Our birthdays for today include 1925. He was born on this date, a famous British actor and former husband of Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton. He was from Wales, and he died in 1984 at the age of 58. He was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, but never won an Oscar. He was nominated for The Robe, Camelot, Hamlet, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Great movie. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. 1932 was the date that Roy Scheider was born, an American actor. We probably know him best for his role as Chief Martin Brody in the movie Jaws. He died in 2008 at the age of 75. He also played the cop, I believe it was a Chicago cop, Buddy Russo, in The French Connection. Born on this date in 1932, Roy Scheider. And I also want to wish a special happy birthday this morning to my love of my life, my wife, Lynette, celebrates her birthday tomorrow. Here she's standing with me next to hers and my birthday and Christmas gift to ourselves this year. Thanks to All Seasons RV here in the Wenatchee, the local guys, for making that all happen. We're very happy. And Lynette, you put up with me these many years. I'll tell you what, I thank you for everything you've done, and certainly she is the love of my life, Lynette Hare. Happy birthday. And it's always kind of fortunate for me that her birthday always falls on Veterans Day. That way I never forget. Thanks for all you do, Lynette. Hey, we'll be back with more on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. A treat. We've got the guys from the bunker going to join us here to talk about Veterans Day and everything they do with the serving vets of North Central Washington as Wake Up Wenatchee Valley continues on a Friday.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Telecommunications. November 16 to 19, the Numerica Pack Upper Lobby in Wenatchee Convention Center Ballroom will come alive with trees, wreaths, and local entertainment. Bring your family, friends, and those holiday guests to see a colorful forest of trees and wreaths of all sizes. Take home one of your own by bidding in the silent auction and entering in the raffle. For more information, visit ncwlife.com.
The Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center presents their 2017 Holiday Craft Fair. Mark this date on your calendar and be sure to bring a friend. It's Saturday, November 11th. And you're going to want to make a day of it as you shop the many booths from traditional to contemporary handcrafted items for your holiday gift giving. Enjoy a snack and enter to win prizes at the raffle tables. Get a jump start on your holiday gift giving by shopping Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center's annual Holiday Gift Fair, Saturday, November 11th from 9 to 3.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rowe's Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. It means you can count on Rowe's for quality products, quality repairs, and folks who stand behind the products they sell. From your job site to your home to rentals and repairs to new outdoor power equipment, Rowe's Tractor is growing with you throughout the years. Rowe's Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price.
Wow, it really does all that.
It really does all that.
Well, help us pack?
We're working on that.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Okay, this gun thing I've been talking about. Those opposed to private gun ownership and extra capacity magazines often say things like, No one needs 30 rounds, etc., that kind of stuff. Now, even supposedly weapons knowledgeable folks will sometimes say stuff like that. Well, however, you know, if you're using a firearm properly, you're using it to protect you or someone else's life in a potentially lethal scenario. And in that case, I want as many rounds as possible. I think the Glock I carried on duty when I was a cop held 10 rounds, and I had 2 backup magazines in my belt, and I had more ammunition in my duty bag. Frankly, in a scenario like that, I think 30 rounds to start sounds about right. But hey, what do I know? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Is this really what we're going to do on our girls' night out? We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Kashmir? Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Kashmir is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Kashmir, the coolest place in town.
Hi, I'm Blair from Works, your workout prescription. Have you ever started an exercise program and struggled to keep it going? So what if I told you that with this MyZone device, I could increase your chances of self-motivated exercise adherence by over 200%. Combine that with an exercise prescription specifically for your level of readiness, we'll increase it even more. And that's our new member success system. It's $99. It's exclusively at Works. It includes your MyZone belt. Works, yourworkoutrx.com.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this Friday, November 10th. Now, of course, Veterans Day is tomorrow, but we're celebrating it a little early today. What with it falling on a Saturday, I know that a lot of government offices are closed today. Schools are out, and of course the local schools here in the Wenatchee Valley held student assemblies yesterday. A special tribute to area veterans. And joining me right now in the studio, we're going to be talking about Veterans Affairs with our 2 guests today, Ron Bruno with serving vets of North Central Washington, joining us from the bunker, and then Tony Sandoval, sitting here to my immediate left, who is a U.S. Army veteran who serves as the regional Veterans Service Officer, as I understand. Tony?
That's correct, yep.
The first time I've had a chance to meet you here, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, pleasure.
Well, it's a big day tomorrow for the vets. I know that you got kind of an early celebration to that yesterday. Ron, tell us about your experience at, what school did you attend yesterday?
I was at Eastmont Junior High School yesterday for their Veterans Day Assembly.
Yeah, so tell us about it.
Oh, I'll tell you, it was very well thought out. The presentation that they gave, they started out as the students entered the auditorium, the gymnasium, they were singing God Bless America.
How'd that make you feel?
Proud, real proud, and not just that fact. I mean, I'm looking at these kids and thinking, you know, and hoping that they never have to do some of the things I did, but at the same time appreciating the fact that they're honoring all those of us that were there yesterday.
Well, you know, it's really neat that both the school districts have established this as a traditional event and something that's going to carry over into subsequent years. But Tony, obviously it means a lot to area veterans to see this kind of support, because I know that yourself, you were a Vietnam War vet, and I have vivid memories of veterans returning from combat in Vietnam. In some cases, they were in some cases spit on because of the anti-war movement at that time. So seeing this kind of support now in the community means a lot to you, I would imagine.
It really does. It actually took a while for me when I first came home to even let people know that I was a veteran. I mean, I was very proud of what I did and what I represented inside, but the way that we were treated and reacted upon, I kind of kept it to myself for a long time.
Yeah, obviously. Tony, your thoughts? Did you attend any of the events yesterday at the schools?
You know, the second Thursday of every month through the Chelan County Veteran Service Office, I do outreach in the Chelan area. So I had already previously set that up, and I was up there with Bob Getty, and we enjoyed our breakfast and met a couple vets. But when I came back down every year for the past several years, my mom has put together a little thank you for veterans as she's worked in the bus barn at Wenatchee High School. So she goes out and she puts the little goodie bags and things together, and I always make a point to try and get there to see her appreciate us, which is really great.
And Tony, you're a U.S. Army vet.
That's correct.
Where did you serve?
I first was at Fort Carson in Colorado. I was in the 4th Infantry Division, and then I was deployed to Iraq in 2003, stayed for a year, came home.
So you were in combat? Mm-hmm. Okay. Glad to see you're in one piece.
Yeah, me too.
That's so many veterans who returned injured or wounded and left with lifelong scars. I wanted to kind of orient our viewers right now to serving vets of North Central Washington and the good works that you guys do. You, Mark Harley, Dwayne Broadus, and Ron Bruno put this thing together. It's really your brainchild. Let's talk about what your organization does.
Well, to start out with, it was really amazing on how everything came together. Those of us who are actually what I would call the basic foundation of where serving vets came from really didn't know much about each other. Bob Ashford and I knew each other from the Marine Corps League, but outside that we didn't really know each other, and then we met each other all around the same time and realized that we all believed, and felt the same way. All of us in our own way were trying to help vets and had been trying to help vets for a number of years.
Well, I know that a lot of times military veterans come back home with not a full knowledge of what they're entitled to in terms of benefits, and I know that's one of the major things that you do down at the bunker is help guide them through that maze and really kind of provide them with that information that really benefits them.
Yeah, you're correct on that issue. Basically, what we, kind of pride ourselves on is in assisting the veterans in the navigation of Veterans Administration. And it's not just one single area. The Veterans Administration has the education area, it has the health benefits area, it has the disability area, the benefits that all veterans are. But the one big thing that we try to explain to the people that come in and visit us is all of us are the same under the skin. We're all vets, no matter what branch, when, where, and how we served. But with the Veterans Administration, depending when we served, each of us are individuals. We may qualify for something different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we have to get with one another to explain that.
Can you tell us how you work together with Tony and the Veteran Services Office? Maybe Tony can tell us how you link up with Vets Serving Vets and other organizations to service the area.
Yeah, so my post, 512 South Chelan Street, behind the old Catholic Church, Essentially, it was brought in to do the claim work and the Veterans Assistance Fund to help indigent and that area of veterans who are struggling. And we work real closely with the bunker, with support services for veterans families, SSVF, WorkSource, Serve Wenatchee Valley, and there's just and then of course the HUD-VASH program with housing and things. And so what I might see on a normal day is somebody who might enter my office, and I'm not available through the county criteria to help, and I'll say, hey, let's talk to the bunker. They're a good group of guys, and let's get them to understand your circumstances and see if they can help, and it's vice versa, back and forth. So,
what does it mean to our community to have a local organization here working with local vets?
Well, that's a big deal. It's a huge deal, and a lot of the time people will tell us that I'm just so happy that somebody listened to me, and then there's a lot of the time where they just can't even believe that we offer such great services that be able to get them through the tough times.
Well, it's a tough, and you said it's a tough adjustment for especially those returning from combat. And we're seeing more and more of the walking wounded in our own area, not just the physical injuries, but also the traumatic brain injuries that are occurring as well. It's really a tragic situation right now in terms of the people that are returning from the Middle East, because it's been going on for so long. We're seeing more and more of them. So that makes your jobs even more difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If we're able to, we don't do diagnosis at either of our shops. We're masters of the referral, essentially. And what we can do is put people on a correct course to try and receive the best benefits of our community and the VA. Essentially, Peter Schmidt, who's the head of behavioral health for the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs, says all veterans are like some veterans are like no other veteran, and that really sums it up. And just like Bruno said, I mean, they're all different, but we're all the same underneath the skin. So,
Well, I want to thank both of you for what you do. We're going to have more in our conversation here with our two veterans, and of course we have more coming up on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, including a little video that we want to share with you when we come back from our break of a special display at the bunker that's run by the Serving Vets organization. A chance that I had last week to find out more about a special World War II U.S. Army nurses uniform and its history. Stay tuned for that. That's next up on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for joining us.
Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to check out our newest show on the NCW Life channel. We call it the 12th District. Each week, we'll be taking an in-depth look at various political issues that affect our area, our state, and the world. We'll be featuring local and statewide experts on the subject matter at hand. Please join us weekly for the 12th District with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Check your channel guide for times or go to ncwlife.com for details.
The 2017 Ski-Doo Summit sleds. Next generation REV platform. The most powerful two-stroke engine in the industry. For the unmatched handling and power to own the next side hill, the next drop, the next ride. Ski-Doo. What matters is what's next.
NCW Life Channel, your home for local news, local weather, local sports, and local shows featuring local people covering local topics like Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Let's Learn, Street Talk and other stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel, your local TV station.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this day before Veterans Day. Joining me is my two special guests in studio, Tony Sandoval here to my immediate left, who is the Veteran Service Officer for the Chelan-Douglas County area. Also Ron Bruno, one of the founding members of Serving Vets of North Central Washington, joining us from the bunker. Now we refer to the bunker quite often here at NCW Life Channel because of the good work you guys do, and the bunker, of course, is a term that is used as a place of shelter for guys in combat. So obviously that's what that facility serves as, Ron.
Yes, you know, our great friend Pete Rose actually came up, and you had an opportunity to see it in our location just about 3 or 4 doors down from where we're at right now. Had painted sandbags all over their windows, and on those sandbags our visiting veterans would sign in with their unit and location of where they served. And a lot of people would come down and stop by and just read those sandbags. But you know, we had to come up with a name when we started, and then everybody says, you know, that just don't sound right. We've got to come up with something else. And people started talking about what a safe haven, you know, our location was. They just felt great. So the term bunker came in.
The only thing you're missing is a big Franklin stove with a cracker barrel, you know, because it's kind of like a spit and whittle club down at the bunker, I know, with the cribbage boards going, and you always have some food that's being donated down there, but it's really a great place to congregate and, you know, just hang out and BS with the guys all day, you know.
Well, not just the guys. We've got a few of the gals that come in too, so we don't want to leave them out of the picture, that's for sure.
Speaking of which, I think, Caitlin, I'd like to bring up a little video right now. Speaking of the women who have served in the military, a special gift that was shared with the bunker recently that we want to tell you about. It was a World War II vintage U.S. Army nurses uniform that found its way to the bunker. We talked to Bill Robertson, who is one of the members of Serving Vets, who gave us a little bit of a history of what that uniform is all about. Here's that video. Uniform that made its way here to the bunker. Obviously, this is really a nicely maintained uniform of U.S. Army nurse, World War II vintage.
Yes, there were approximately 70,000 nurses during World War II, about 60,000 in the Army and about 10,000 in the Navy. And this young lady here graduated from nursing school in 1938 in Seattle area. She volunteered immediately in the start of World War II, went through 15 months of training in Colorado, and then landed in Normandy on D-Day plus 39. Oh my. So about August 15th, somewhere in there in 1944. And she went through to the end of the war. And she was what we now call in a MASH unit. She was originally in the 65th General Hospital, and then in the 11th Infantry Hospital, and basically went all through France and into Germany until the end of the war.
So definitely she was involved in trauma care and treating and the wounded during battle.
Yeah, she was right on the front line, and she says in an article about her that you never knew what was going to happen when you pulled the cover off of a stretcher, whether the person would be, what type of battle damage they'd have. But she was right there in triage.
Goodness gracious. So how did the uniform make its way here to Wenatchee and the bunker?
Well, apparently the family was going through some of her items. She's still alive at last report over in Auburn. And they time to help her clean things up. And one of her nieces got this uniform and one other, and came in one day and said, I've got a uniform, do you think you could use it here? And we jumped on it. So, and it is in immaculate shape. That uniform, for being over 70 years old, is in fantastic condition.
Well, obviously you have quite a display here down at the bunker that you're accumulating with uniforms and other memorabilia. So Obviously, it's all turning into something of a museum down here.
Yeah, well, yeah, both in material and personnel, I think. Some of us are getting up there in museum status right now. It's starting to be a pretty good collection. It really is.
Really a fascinating interview there with William Robertson, one of your volunteers at the bunker. And again, it is starting to accumulate quite a bit of memorabilia down there. And you also were mentioning the fact that another uniform there of another local Marine that you wanted to share.
A very near and dear friend of all of us at the bunker, Gunny Ken Cornwell. He's kind of, I guess you might call him the mainstay of the bunker. I mean, at 10:30, the coffee cup gets filled up and his chair gets pulled out and he walks in the door. But it's really unique because Gunny is one of those rare individual people that his uniform is on display, and he's a 3-war veteran. Mm-hmm. Not just a veteran, but 3 different wars that man has served in and continues to serve every day of his life. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Well, plaudits go out to all of our veterans on this special day. Tomorrow, Veterans Day, will be celebrated with our big parade, and obviously we're going to see you guys down there tomorrow. It starts, I think, over on 2nd Street on Chelan Avenue, and it proceeds down the street, briefly stops at Memorial Park, where you have the traditional observance of the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. Armistice Day is what we originally referred to Veterans Day as, because it marked the end of World War I. But a lot of things, a lot of water under the bridge since then. And Tony, I'm going to ask you right now, what is the state, I guess, of Veterans Affairs right now? I know it's kind of in a time of transition. There's legislation making its way through Congress right now to kind of expedite that process for you guys. But how would you describe the situation right now in terms of the way veterans are being treated by the government right now?
Well, I had the opportunity to visit with at the PTSD provider conference up in Chelan a couple weeks ago, where all the counselors from around the state who are hired by the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs get together, and they talk about things and train. And they talked about transition a lot. And the transition 10 years ago and the transition now for the guys returning from Iraq and Afghanistan is totally different. Not only is our state, the WDVA, the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs, really proactive with getting out there and finding a good way to not only get the veteran involved in the program and get benefits served as they should, but I have a tendency to lean on the fact that I think somewhere they want to make sure that it's a healing journey, and that there's some healing going on in the return to veterans. I know that our secretary is really shaking some things up. You know, there was a little concern over the individual unemployability and how they were going to take that away from several 100,000 vets, and I think that got stamped out. So there's some safety in that. I know that he's been talking about expediting claims. Right now we work with the fully developed claim program, where, you know, a VSO like myself, or we put a claim together and it enters the VA at a faster track, and they're trying to expedite increases and things like that. So I know there's been a lot of work done.
Good.
There's also talk of more presumptives on the Agent Orange list. And so all that's really good works that they're doing, and I know that they're working towards that.
Thank you, Tony, for joining us. How can people contact you? What's your phone number?
It's 509-664-6801.
And that's Veteran Services Officer for this area. Ron Bruno, if somebody wants to get a donation to your organization, Vets Serving Vets, how can we contact you?
Well, the easiest way to contact us is to stop by and see us, of course. Our phone number is 885-5559.
Good.
We're located in the Harley Center, right across from the Red Lion. Our mailing address is 1250 North Wenatchee Avenue, Box 266.
And thank you very much. We're out of time, folks. That's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Look forward to seeing you again on Monday, Dan Kuntz. I'm Steve Hare.